Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we will continue our videos about how to fill the new self-study report for programs 2023. We will start our video how to fill the first standard. The first standard is program management and the quality assurance. And as you see here, you need to fill the overall rating. It's a number from 1 to 5, and this number should be calculated based on the evaluation of the criteria of this standard. As you see, we have 9 criteria for the substandard program management, and also we have 3 criteria for the substandard program quality assurance. Some of these criteria are essential. For example, in the substandard 1 program management, the second criterion is an essential criterion, which means it should be evaluated by 3 or more, and this means it should be within the range satisfactory, not satisfactory 1 and 2, 1 non-compliance, 2 partial compliance. Satisfactory, we have 3 grades: compliance, perfect compliance, and distinctive compliance. So for this standard, you can minimum evaluate by compliance. The other standards can be 2 or more, but the overall rating should be 3 or more. The calculation of the overall rating, you have to sum the evaluation of all criteria with total points and the number of applicable criteria, 12. I'll take the average evaluation of the standard, and you have to, based on the range, you will choose 3, 4, or 5. You can refer to my one of videos how to calculate the overall quality rating of the standard, which is video about self-evaluation skills. Now, returning to the overall rating, after evaluating all criteria with several grades or points, and you have to write this number here. It should be an integer, and this integer, for example, we will write 3 as an example, and this will be the same for other standards, so we will not repeat this introduction. We will go in other standards directly to explain how to fill each standard. So in this standard, as I said before, it contains 2 sub-standards: program management, and the other one is program quality assurance. If we want to know what is this standard about, the NCAA giving a small introduction here about this standard, which means the program must have effective leadership that implements the institutional systems, policies, and regulations. The program leadership must plan, implement, monitor, and activate quality assurance system that achieve continuous development of program performance in a framework of integrity, transparency, fairness, and within a supportive organizational climate. So, as you see, we have 12 standards here. And of course, it is very difficult to explain all of them in one video. It will take a lot of time, but I will go through every standard in every video, criterion by criterion. And I will just want to mention there is a column which means not applicable. Some of these criteria is not applicable. For example, if you don't have management applies mechanism ensuring integrity, if any, if you don't have female and male students, only male or only females. So this criterion 115 is not applicable. If you have male and female, you have to evaluate this criterion. Of course, this is a self-evaluation by the program, and the NCAA reviewers will look at your evaluation, and based on the provided evidence, they will re-evaluate this standard again, and they will see if you give yourself grades or evaluation more or less that required based on the evidence that you are provided. So if you evaluate any standard of them, you have to be careful that you have the sufficient evidence to prove that you are and that this criterion is compliance with the NCAA standards. Now let's start with the substandard one program management, and with the first criterion, which is about the mission. As you know, in the old standards, the mission and objectives, they were in one separate standard number one, and the new standards, they removed the standard one and replaced by standard two to be the standard one, but they added some criteria from the mission and objectives in the standard. Really, maybe it is only one, maybe, and four, for example. They merged and added some of the criterion from the mission and goals in this standard. So the first one is the program mission and its goals are consistent with the mission of the institution college and guide all its operations and activities. Really, before starting write anything, you have to understand clearly what is this criterion about. It is about the mission, it is about goals, and it is about its consistency with the mission of the college or institution, and also it is about that your mission and goals guide all its or the mission guide all its operations and activities. So it means refer to the program, all programs, operations, and activities. So you have to provide your mission. Your mission, of course, should be, if we start with the criterion number one, what is this about? It is about that the program should have a clear mission with educational and operational objectives that should be published to the stakeholders. So it is important that you have a clear mission that reflect your activity, you describe your program, and most of the missions, they have academic missions or academic program missions. They have a similarity because all of them about education, all of them about research and community service. But of course, you should choose and write a unique mission that reflect your environment, your university, and should be consist, of course, with the mission of the university and college. And I can give you example. Some of universities, they are research universities, and some of them, they are new and they are concentrate on education. So you cannot write a mission to show the research as a priority in your mission, because this priority doesn't consist with the priority of your university or your college. Also, based on the mission, you have to write your objectives. Most of programs, uh, they are writing educational objectives, and they forget about the operational objectives, because the academic program, it is not about education and teaching only. It is also about providing research and community service. There are some activities that are not related to the education and can be extracted from also the university's strategic plan and its goals. So you should also show that you have operational objectives, for example, related to research and community service. In this, you have to uh, show your evidence, and for evidence, you can show that you have a published mission and objectives on the program's website, students' book, handbook, or college book, and maybe it is hanged somewhere in corridors or everywhere, so the stakeholder can see your mission and your objectives. That should be clear and published for all stakeholders. And of course, the main evidence, it should be published on your website. Website should be updated, and the mission and objectives everywhere in the handbook or in the on the website or anywhere should be the same and should be updated. The next is the mission and objectives should be consistent with the college and university's mission and objectives. So I have a mission, it is clear, it is published, and it is consists also with the university and the college mission and objectives. What I should have to provide as evidence, I can provide the consistency table of the main keywords of mission and objectives for university, the program, and the college, and to show them that I have in my mission something about good education. Also, the university in its mission, or the college also talking about good education. The university is trying to concentrate, for example, on sustainability. I have something about sustainability in my mission. So when you are writing for the first time your mission, you have to be sure that it consists with the university's mission. Third, based on objectives, the program should consider the following. As I said before, we have two main types of objectives. We have educational objectives, and these educational objectives, they are related to the teaching, to the education, and so also in this you have to write about your program learning outcomes, teaching strategies, assessment method, direct and indirect. Of course, these will be repeated in other standards, but here you have to show them that you have education objectives and they are linked to the program learning outcomes. You have teaching strategies and assessment methods to achieve these education objectives through measuring the program learning outcomes. You have direct and indirect. You have also some of KPIs, for example, employers and graduates feedback, and these KPIs also link to your educational objectives. You have committees, you have organizational flowchart that showing the committees and their tasks, because based on the committees you have activities that should be implemented, and implementation of these activities will be reflected on the results of measuring of KPIs and program learning outcomes. And if they are reflected positively, which means you will achieve your educational objectives if you achieved your program learning outcomes and KPIs. In this case, what the evidence you need? You need the program specification, which is the most important document, because in the program specification you can find the program learning outcomes, you can find KPIs, teaching strategy, assessment method, graduate attributes, I forget about them, which is important. Also, course specifications can be as an evidence to show that based in the course specifications you are linked course learning outcomes with program learning outcomes, and you also in the course specifications you have teaching strategies and assessment methods in order to achieve your course learning outcomes that are linked to the program learning outcomes. And based on the achievements of program learning outcomes, you are trying to achieve your educational objectives as we said before. Also, the annual program report, which shows that you already implemented your program specifications, implemented the course specifications, and you have a results in your annual program report. And it is important to show that the annual program report contains the results of evaluation, and you have action, and you have improvement plan, and so on. Regarding operational objectives, and we said they are not educational, they should be linked also to KPIs. KPIs about research, for example, publications and citation, community service, and also the KPIs should be also adopted from not only the NCAA, also from the college and university KPIs, because to show that you are trying based on these KPIs, that of course they will be a part of your operational plan. They are linked to your activities in your operational plan. Based on your operational plan, you are trying also to achieve these KPIs. Achieving these KPIs that are related to the university and college, this is important. This is to show you that is as a program a part of the college and university, because as you know, some of KPIs they are measured at program level and can be the same KPIs measured at college level and at university level. So university, when will measure a KPI at university level, it will collect data from programs and from colleges, and it will have the average, and it can, for example, if the university publication rate, for example, is 1 to 2, it will collect all the research from all programs, from all departments, from all colleges, and it will calculate the KPIs related to the publication rate. So this is about operational objectives. And what is the evidence that you need? You need, of course, operational plan. An operational plan is important. Is annual operational plan that contains your activities related to the goals of the university, related also that link to the KPIs, and these activities should be implemented, as we said before, by committees. Some of them can be implemented at program level, some of them you need support from the college or support from the university, but it is your own operational plan. Annually you are trying to implement and to follow, in order by the end of the year you will have a clear picture about the achievements of your operational objectives. Also, operational plan can contain educational objectives together. What the evidence you need here? As we said before, operational plan. Also, you need annual program report, follow-up plan. You are following the achievement of your activities, measured KPIs with analysis, strength improvement point, and priority of improvement. Of course, this will be as evidence, of course, with action plan and improvement plan. Fourth, for this criterion, number one, the mission and objectives are monitored for achievement using a clear mechanism. Of course, you have a clear mission. It is published. It is linked to operational education objectives. You are measuring everything to have, but you have to monitor the achievements, which means every year you are trying to know the achievements of your mission and objectives. The achievements, it is based on the number of achieved KPIs, which means the result of measuring of KPIs, or the KPIs that the results of measures they are above the benchmark. The program learning outcomes also measuring program learning outcomes, and the result should be above the benchmark. If your all KPIs or program learning outcomes they are achieved, this means that you achieved your operational and education objectives, and you already achieved your mission, which is of course difficult because you need maybe 4 years at least every year to monitor the achievement. And based on this monitoring, maybe you need also to update your mission and the objectives, and this update should be based on a clear mechanism to monitoring and a clear mechanism to update. You cannot update your mission and objectives directly without reasons. You should have a feedback from stakeholders, from the advisory board. The update should have based on something changed. Maybe it is about to follow the national vision, for example, 2030. Maybe there are appeared some specific requirements by accreditation standards, maybe based on internal and external reviewing results. So you should have a clear feedback, and of course this should be written in your quality guide or quality assurance guide. And one of them, of course, this guide contains a lot of quality assurance cycles, and one of these cycles it is about mission and objectives update. You should have a cycle about updating mission and objectives. So of course, the results of monitoring is to update the mission and objectives regularly based on needs. Maybe 1, 2, 3 years you didn't change or update the mission and objectives because there were no needs for this. But if you updating your mission 1 or 2 times through within, for example, within 4 years, I think you should have a clear mechanism to explain. This mechanism should be written. Also, you need to provide evidence, for example, program learning outcomes and KPIs, reports, surveys, results, the analysis and action from stakeholders, advisory board minutes of meetings, uh, Saudi Arabia vision, accreditation standards, any documents, any reports that showing that based on them you updated your mission and objectives. I think if the program will follow these 4 steps for the first criterion, I think exactly within the 4 years before the first graduated student, I think the program can evaluate itself by at least 4. If you don't have sufficient documents, or you didn't regularly update the mission, or you have something with problem with advisory board, you don't have advisory board, maybe you couldn't link or contact employers, or something is not sufficient here, you can put your 3 as evaluation grade for this criterion. Thank you very much for your listening. Inshallah, the next video will be about the second criterion of the first substandard program management, from the first standard program management and quality management and quality assurance. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.